Just coming off the bye, just really grateful to get back on the grass with the guys. Spent Monday re-engaging our process, re-engaging our material, getting in the elements a little bit. It's always good, you come off a little bit of a rest to get the guys outside and, get them hearing our words again and getting back into it. But just, with the late bye, our guys have gotten into a groove of figuring out what their week looks like, preparing for Sundays. And now those guys are jumped right back in. Re-engaging material as if it's new, especially when you're playing a familiar team the second time. So just really excited for the opportunity on Sunday. And then really just bringing those guys focused too. Everyone says we got 4 weeks left in the season. You got an opportunity on Sunday, but really we're just talking about the opportunity today. So every day, you get in that meeting room, you just focus on where your feet are, engaging the process for the day. Today's third down, pressures, short yardage. That's the material that we need to, make sure that we own, as we build this thing as the week grows. So just proud of our guys of doing that, coming back with a professional attitude and ready to build off what we have.
Recording in progress.
We'll start things off with Darren Gant, followed by Daryl.
Hey, Brad. Dave was talking yesterday about finding balance on offense and that kind of thing. How do you, for lack of a better word, balance that with trying to not be predictable in what you guys are doing and showing tendencies?
Yeah, it starts with the plan. So a big piece of who we want to be is making sure, when you put a concept in that you think will be good against a team, whether it's run or pass, you say, okay, what can and what have they shown to do to combat that? What's a reaction they might have if this run is hitting at this particular time? Let's put in something to protect that. If it's an angle of the cut in a route concept, or if it's a formation or motion that we've shown and we know that they're going to card up that play on their defensive side because it's hit, what can we do to combat that, protect it, or present it a different way?
Is that mostly based on, how do you achieve that? Is that a formation thing? What's the most effective way to prevent that?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. So formation personnel. So for us, you might put a new guy in try to present it a little bit different way by maybe running at a different guy, running a different direction. If it's a run game, motion-wise, you'll get to what we call like a final formation. What's the snapshot when that ball is snapped? There's different ways to get to a final formation in both run and pass. And that for us, if you do that with good tempo and brisk tempo, you try at times to see if the defense can't recognize what that final formation is and what our tendencies are out of that.
Gotcha.
Daryl.
Yeah, Coach. Oops.
Good morning.
Daryl, you muted yourself.
You muted yourself, I think.
There we go. We good?
There it is. Yep, gotcha.
How you doing today?
Good.
That's good. I'd like to ask a question. It seems like in the passing game, for instance, you guys have had some inconsistency. There's some games like when I see Bryce seems to be pretty accurate on long throws. And like watching, for instance, the San Francisco game, you weren't throwing the ball downfield. And I'm wondering why in some games, like you're throwing the ball more, taking advantage of that. In other games, I'm not seeing it all. Is the play calling? Is it the team you're playing? What makes the decisions when it comes to taking attempts downfield? Because it seems like it opens up your offense more when that happens.
Absolutely. And it really goes back to what Darren was asking about the balance and protecting things. It all plays together. So, you have a good run attack and they got to clamp down on that, and you get single high looks and one-on-ones outside. Then you're relying on your guys to execute outside. Our last game against the Rams, those opportunities came a lot on third and fourth down. So you're running the ball and you're getting to third and fourth and short situations where they have to honor the run. And then you get really good opportunities outside for your guys to go make plays, and they did that. So Jalen made a huge one. T-Mac made a huge one. A couple of the tight ends on the edges, even on some of the action looks that presented like runs. So for all of us, as a coaching staff, we want to present the game plan as a way to achieve that marriage of the run and pass, and then take advantage of when they're slightly skewed of protecting against one thing or the other. That's when you're going to get your matchups. If they're afraid of the pass game and you're getting too high shell, well, Harold Goodwin will be licking his chops to tell me what next runs he's got first too high shell. And then the same thing goes with the pass game. When they're anchored down in the box, we're relying on our guys to win outside, and Bryce has been good when that's the situation.
Well, I know in that San Francisco game, you guys didn't run much at all. But isn't it good? Like, I know you're probably looking at situations or defenses or what they're playing or how they're playing, but isn't it good sometimes just to take a shot once in a while too, just a team to know that you might do that? And doesn't that maybe give you more opportunities that way?
Absolutely. And the balance comes in both. Are you looking for a completion underneath, or are you taking it over the top? You want to draw the defense in, or you get some underneath completions. All right, well, when's the time to take that shot down the field? And that's something that we're always trying to, you use the first couple drives in a game to feel out, what's our best chance at just good, clean execution, extending drives so we can continue to get, things on tape, things on those still shots for us to study of how we want this game plan to go based on what the defense is presenting us as the game unfolds. So definitely trying to create marriage in both the run and pass, but then also, when do you need to have a couple completions underneath to draw them in to be able to hit the shots over the top?
Thank you, Coach.
Yep.
Joe Person, followed by Mike Kay.
Morning, Brad.
Good morning.
Hey, looking at some of the numbers on Bryce, he has not been quite as effective this year when dealing with pressure on his dropbacks. Why do you think that is, and what can you guys do to kind of, give him some help in that regard?
Yeah, it's just continuing to explore who our current group is, protection-wise, and then also just scheme-wise. I think as the season goes, you become more comfortable with hot answers, with certain guys in different spots, how they're going to win their routes. There's a trust factor, that builds as the season goes with the skill positions running the routes, but then also the protection unit and the checks that we're making at the line of scrimmage to make sure that, everything's blocked up correctly. So I don't like to compare to past seasons or anything like that, but where we currently are is just so far down the line of understanding our rules in both the protection pieces and then also the route schemes that now it's just, about how many times can we go back to the well and some of the things that we're good at, and then also present some complementary route schemes where that trust is growing and the defense can't get a beat on the different angles of the cut.
And then I wanted you to walk me through, if you would, the play Bryce had against the Rams where he threw T-Mac open. That was seemed like what progression was T-Mac, first of all, and just walk us through that, please.
Yeah, so a double crosser play, right? It's one we've had up, for a while, going all the way back to Seattle. But it's just it's an attacking play with a run. It starts with a good run sell, so you get the backers to step up, and you're trying to create those one-on-ones on the outside like we had. So you got Jalen going to the flat. If they end up dropping that, you got a nice flat throw right there. You had JT working across the field, and you can really go across the board trying to hit one of these deep crossers if the defense is all at the line of scrimmage. Ironically, they had everybody in the box ready to stop the run, but they dropped 8. So they had a lot of underneath coverage, so the flat route and JT working across the field wasn't quite there. So we were really relying on those guys to come open on the crossers. And it took a little bit of time, right? But that was a trust throw. We say if he's on an angle, keep him on the angle with the throw. If the DB looks to undercut, there's a good chance for a layered ball over the top. That's exactly what Bryce saw as he sat in the pocket. So one of the benefits of the drop 8 is he had some time in the pocket. Chuba did a great job of helping the right tackle there, putting the end right back on the body, and Bryce was calm in the pocket. He saw a bit of an undercut from number 1, and he said, okay, this goes right back to the initial training of I got this guy, he's going to set his line. I feel like the DB's starting to undercut this route, and I can leave him up the field knowing that's a safe throw. And then T-Mac makes a great over-the-shoulder catch and finishes it for us. So it's NFL ball, right? You take a picture of it and you say nobody's open, but there's windows to throw, and that's just Bryce's progression. That's just Bryce's trust in T-Mac, knowing you set a line, you keep that line, and then let me put the ball based on where the DB is. It was a phenomenal play by both those guys.
Very thorough. Good stuff. Thank you, Brad.
Yep.
Hey, Brad. Good morning.
Good morning.
when Damien Lewis signed with you guys, I think it was easy to kind of lose him in the shuffle of like Rob Hunt and some other guys, but he has been probably, if not your most consistent lineman, one of. I'm just curious, having known him in Seattle and watched him progress throughout his career, what makes him so good, and why is he able to sustain that positive production game to game?
Yeah, I mean, you start with the athlete. D-Lou is phenomenal. Like, his strength is ridiculous. If you try to give him a look on scout team, you'll figure it out right away, that his half punch is a full punch for many others. But then also just you watch him pull, you watch him move, his redirect and pass pro for a guy his size, and his anchor as well, coupling with that strength. So the athlete, he's got everything you'd want. To be a phenomenal guard. And then the quiet confidence. It's something that you go all the way back to his rookie year. He comes off as a quiet guy, but when he speaks, it opens up the world to see, like, this guy is smart. I just remember him as a rookie, going through rookie meetings with a lot of those guys. You get a smaller group. You start to test them. Hey, do you know these words? Like, what do you talk to me about this scheme? You go through the draft process, and you have them talk about their own offense. And this guy just oozes football knowledge. So you can't let the quiet demeanor in the hallway kind of distract you from the intelligence he has upstairs. So you couple that whole thing together, and you got a really good player. And then, knock on wood, his durability for us has been great. Been something that we really, he takes pride in. He's got everybody working for him to make sure he gets to game week too. Icky's done a great job. Timo, a couple of good examples. I know the other ones have been in and out. All working to stay healthy, but D-Lou's been the model of consistency that way, and it's just always good to look over on the left side and see 68 there.
And then Alontae Taylor has obviously had a lot of success against you guys. When a guy can do multiple things from that nickel spot, but also play in other spots, how much does that truly impact your game plan, especially with the previous history?
Absolutely. Well, not necessarily the previous history for our guys, but for us knowing like where they want to place him, where they want to put him, in the schemes to allow him to fit in the run game, allow him to get a beat on playing the quarterback's eyes. Something that Alontae does such a great job at. You go all the way back to his high school career. He was a quarterback. I remember we were at Stanford, and I had his tape, brought to some of the coaches when he was a quarterback in high school running around. You see that in his play. Like, you see this guy wanting to play with eyes, half on a receiver, half on the quarterback. You saw it in the interception last week where he's not typically playing outside. You go to base and he shuffles outside. You would say his comfort level is playing inside, playing near the box, being able to fit and then react and play the pass with help with safeties and corners outside of him. But there's a guy right there who knows when to squat on a route, and drive it based on that was like the third time they ran this crossing route with a dagger or a basic behind it, and he squatted on it perfect. So that's just speaks to his intelligence. It also, the coaching that he's gotten while he's there, he fits their scheme really well. This scheme's always relied on a good nickel presence. You think about Morig when we're playing big nickel in our scheme, a very similar scheme. He's made a ton of plays being able to play both run and pass. Alontae does a great job of that, and he's a phenomenal athlete with length and ball skills. So, really can't speak highly enough for him as a player. It's fun to go against. It's always a good matchup. You got to make sure you honor him in both the protection and the pass coverage game. So it's a good challenge for our guys.
You going to the Duke's Mayo Bowl for your alma mater?
I got to find a way. I don't know what the wife has planned for that Friday, but I know what I have planned.
All right, well, do your best. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. She'll come with me.
We have time for two more. We'll go with ESPN, followed by Jeff Hawkins.
Yeah, Brad, good to be here today with you. Wanted to ask you, what's the Pete Carroll influence on Dave Canales?
Oh, man. 12, 13 years. I would say Dave's enthusiasm, it's a little different than Pete's. I think everyone's is a little different than Pete's, but his enthusiasm and love for people, those two are cut from the same cloth. You walk in a room and they can both work the room genuinely. It's not just working the room with an end goal in mind. When you're talking to Dave, when you're talking to Pete, you are talking to them and they are looking right at you, and they're not looking anywhere beyond the conversation they're in. So that's the biggest piece that you feel from both those guys. Remember interviewing with Pete, sitting down, and it was a true one-on-one. Here's a head coach in the middle of, a busy week, and you close the door and interview him for a QC spot, and it's a true one-on-one conversation for however long you let it go. And the same goes with Dave. He'll put everything he has down. The head coaching job has a lot of people pulling in different directions, but you never feel like he's on his way out the door when you're talking to him.
And philosophy-wise, is it similar to, or?
Yeah. I think positivity is a big one, right? Just in general, like cultural philosophy, being positive. And then, I think for all of us, we all want to accomplish similar things on the football field, marriage, run, and pass, and, establishing, a physical presence. But, I feel a lot of I think anyone from that Pete Carroll tree brings a lot of that. They see the value in that positivity and that energy, that genuine energy from the day-to-day, and that's definitely incorporated in our building here.
And one quick one, I know we won't talk to you again until next week, late in the week, and a lot of us do our preparation on next week. When you started working with Baker Mayfield, did you sense any resentment or what it was like for him at Carolina and how that impacted him and what it led to, what you guys had to work with?
No, and I really don't even want to get into it. Just so focused on the Saints right here. I wouldn't want to put anything out there that has anything to do with other than our week of prep right here for the Saints.
Okay, I understand. Appreciate it.
Hey, good morning, Coach.
Morning.
Hey, Legette has had a puzzling season, and it appears the staff remaining patient with him. But how important is it for him to emerge as a consistent threat over the last 4 games?
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to continue to bring him along. He's doing a great job. I know some of it doesn't always show up on the stat sheet, but just his aggressiveness in routes, when the ball goes his way, we just want him to continue to attack. Like, this is the only opportunity you got. It's got to show up in both phases with the run game. Anytime you're 6'2", 220 plus, you need your physical presence to show up in the run game. And that's what we've really challenged all of our wideout group. Anytime you get to the gritty type game that we had against the Rams 2 weeks ago, anytime you're playing a physical defense like you have in New Orleans, that requires that both phases, we're playing physical and aggressive. And Xavier's done a great job of clicking back in every single week. Those opportunities will come, and when they do come, I know he'll be ready because his approach is right. His approach has been right the whole time.